listen close, truth not hide forever. Hey. Colonel in the O's, Wyatt Army, stand up. Hey. Legacy media all around, headlines spinning round and round, selling fear from town to town, trying to keep the people down. Lies and fake news every day, misinformation on display. Disinformation lights the way, leading sheep so far astray. Little lambs in line, trusting everyone in sign, marching where them say is fine, never asking who designed. Truth gets traded for political gain, again and again and again, while ordinary people feel the strain, caught in somebody else's game. Resistance is futile, them say, just obey what you're told today. But the people waking up anyway, and the truth keeps finding a way. Resistance is futile, them cry, while their stories never quite comply. You can see it with your own two eyes. Truth lives on, it never dies. Them divide people left and right, turning neighbors into fights, clouding up what should be bright, hiding facts out of sight. They use people then discard, push narratives strong and hard. When the evidence leaves them scarred, them simply move the goalposts yard by yard. Cognitive dissonance in the air, contradictions everywhere, yet some still pretend not to care. Like the emperors got close to it. But a movement's growing every day, not from rage and not from hate, just folks who choose to investigate before it's far too late. Resistance is futile, them say, just obey what you're told today. But the people waking up anyway, and the truth keeps finding a way. Resistance is futile, them cry, while their stories never quite comply. You can see it with your own two eyes. Truth lives on, hey, it never dies. Come and get a daily dose of reality. No hysteria, no manufactured tragedy. Take a little break from propaganda and insanity, and step into a place of clarity. Inoculation against fake news infection, yellow journalism without direction. Question everything, make your own inspection. Truth should never fear examination. Join the colonel, hear the story. Without all the money, facts should glory. Facts before ideology, that's the art of honest reporting. The Wyatt Army isn't just a name, it's ordinary people in the game, thinking freely, not seeking fame, refusing to be led by shame. Just chill, relax and hear the scene, see what all the headlines mean. Objectivity sharp and clean like a river flowing crystal green. No need for panic, no need for fear. Take a look and make it clear. When the facts and evidence appear, the signal rises through the smear. Resistance is futile, them clear, yet more people question all the same, searching truth beyond the frame, and refusing to play the game. Resistance is futile, no more. People knocking on reality's door, seeking facts they're looking for, and finding what they can't ignore. Yeah man, truth shines brighter than confusion. The noise fades, the facts remain. Colonel Chris and the Wyatt Army, keeping it cool, keeping it real. Resistance is futile when the truth is coming true. Fade out. Truth, 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 truth. Ooh, truth, truth. Ah, da, 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 da. Truth, 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 truth.
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's gotta
Welcome back, folks. It is Friday, July 17th, 2026, coming to you live from central Pennsylvania. Let's make sure the audio is working. To live from sounds pretty good. Something on my tooth here. All right, welcome back to the program. We'll get your news here in just a moment. So, President Trump gave a national address last night in which he addressed things. The media have for years lied about President Trump and made false claims and allegations regarding election security and integrity. And of course, much like the white genocide canard, in which they used the term to dismiss the rape, murder, dispossession, racial prejudice, barring from jobs, and access to credit, they used the white genocide canard to dismiss all the sufferings of people because of their skin color. It's the same situation here. They used the term widespread fraud. There was no widespread fraud. In fact, there was widespread fraud. In multiple states around the country, fraud has been detected and people have been prosecuted and now imprisoned for their election fraud in 2020. They told Trump he had no leg to stand on. None of his cases had any validity. Well, the problem is that most of the cases weren't Trump's, and corrupt judges in multiple locations denied the cases on the bogus situation that there was no standing for the complainant. But that isn't true. 16 attorneys general from around the country had clear standing in Pennsylvania's case because the theft of my vote and our 20 electoral college votes in Pennsylvania caused the election to be stolen, is the argument that the Trump administration is making. But the court, Pennsylvania Supreme Court, in a 5-2 Democrat-Republican decision, decided that those attorneys general didn't have standing. But in fact, they did, because our votes counted just the same as theirs. And if our votes were excluded, which is what happened, or handed to the wrong candidate, who magically went from a deficit of 175,000 votes to 60,000 he won by, then they were all defrauded. But last night, President Trump addressed the nation and released declassified information that proves his point. For years, they said he had no evidence. Well, that's because he wasn't in the government. And now they've uncovered information from corrupt bureaucrats. And so they're trying to play the game with no widespread fraud to his aides did it, when in fact it was 2 government agencies, not his aides, and every chief of every intelligence service. Unbelievable. They keep moving the goalposts because they know that they stole. They know that they're corrupt, and their corruption is being exposed. So unfortunately, it still doesn't work. We see that Steve Hilton, who was leading the election in California when there were multiple candidates in it, now all the demon rats have piled on and he's getting shellacked in the polls out in California. And it seems highly unlikely that anybody except Becerra will be the next governor of California. California will continue its descent into the Pacific Ocean and a cesspool of greed, corruption, and race hustling. Yep, but that's California. Extinct vibes. Yeah, it has been a while. Where you been? Hope you're well. All right, let's get to the news. And we'll get back to the election and President Trump's speech last night. Also, I'd encourage you highly, if one of the mods could place this in there, if there's a moderator here, I think you see Chris Wyatt there, and Yassine, if someone could take the link to the video about Richard Stengel and his disgusting commentary at Rita Tlaib's propaganda press panel, in which he laughs at the plight of Afrikaners, the race hustling person who you would think would have more empathy as a Jew with Afrikaners being persecuted. But apparently this Jew doesn't care about persecuted Afrikaners. Then he wonders why people around the world have not had more sympathy for Jews. Well, when some Jews behave this way, it's difficult for others to back their plight. Thank you, Hendo. Hey, Hendo, I didn't see you there. Let's get to the news. What about the people? Judges in the Palapala hearing are asking, what about the people? Ramaphosa doesn't want to be subjected to court. But what about the people? During a court battle in the high-stakes political game involving buffalo, dollars, couches, and a president, the Western Cape High Court judge put the focus where it matters, the people of South Africa. Exactly. The apex court held the independent panel's report must be referred to an impeachment committee when it finds that the president has a case to answer. It can't be shot down by a majority vote, as the ANC did back in December 2022. On Thursday, advocate Vim Tredgrove for Ramaphosa replied to the arguments that respondents to the impeachment committee, the ATM, and its parliamentary leader, Vuyo Zongula, raised a day earlier. On Wednesday, Tredgrove argued that Ramaphosa would suffer humiliation if Parliament holds him to account based on an unlawful report. As it stands, the report has not been declared unlawful. Judge Matthew Francis, who is hearing the matter with judges Andre Lagrange and Diane Davis, said, now, Section 89, to hold the president accountable, that's really for the people of South Africa, okay? the general populace. So they must also be factored into the issue of harm. The advocate, Dali Mpofu, who's usually a clown, but he's involved in this, nodded his head. Francis remarked on the timeline, it's keeping the populace, the electorate, in suspense. So if I understood Mr. Mpofu yesterday, he says it's actually a parallel process. Continue review, but also let the accountability mechanisms continue on his part as well. If there is going to be humiliation and so on, that is just part of the job, so to speak. When the president took on the position of president, he knew Section 89 was in place. Yeah, simple as that. And with that, Cyril Ramaphosa's effort to subvert justice will come to an end. There's no way, given that comment from a sitting judge on that panel, that this panel can come to any conclusion other than Cyril Ramaphosa is trying to evade justice. He knew that being a public figure comes with criticism and comes with the potential of humiliation in office. You're a politician. Look at John Steenhuisen. Does anybody take that guy seriously now? People calling him Minister Uber Eats because he can't pay his credit card bill. John Steenhuisen. People call him Minister Foot and Mouth because of his abysmal reaction to foot and mouth disease. By the way, what's going on with foot and mouth disease? We have heard no news on it. The media have completely dropped off of it. It's funny how the media that love the DA are the ones that went after John Steenhuisen. With good reason, but they're the ones who went after John Steenhuisen. Why did they go after John Steenhuisen? Because he was dead weight. No pun intended. Dead weight. That's why they went after him. Yep, that's what's going on here. Amanda Besser, thank you for the 35 Rand super sticker. Appreciate that. Yeah, so, wow. Ramaphosa cannot avoid justice here, folks. He's not going to avoid it. And he may avoid it in the parliament. They may not impeach him and remove him from office. But the bottom line is that he cannot get that report excluded because it would subvert the Constitutional Court, which is what I've said all along. This is a frivolous lawsuit brought by a president who lied to the public. Remember a few months ago? I will abide by what the courts say. No, you won't. You will pull out a Stalingrad defense and throw everything you can to subvert the judicial process. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. The steel industry in South Africa is also in trouble, folks. Yet another industry in trouble in South Africa. Which ones aren't in trouble? The cartels in the construction and taxi industry, I guess. I have not heard that Amy Barrett is stepping down because of cancer. That's a shame that she has cancer. But if that's true, that's good for America because she is a turncoat and not a conservative. Steel industry fights for survival with push for severe import limits. ArcelorMittal launches application over surging imports. So South Africa's answer to its failing steel industry is protectionism, which will drive up the price of steel. South Africa has told the World Trade Organization it has launched a safeguard investigation in imports of certain cold-rolled products of iron and steel, widening a campaign of trade protection for domestic steel industry that's been shedding capacity and jobs for years. The application was lodged by ArcelorMittal South Africa, which accounts for all production of the affected products in the Southern African Customs Union. According to the filing, the company presented preliminary evidence that rising imports have contributed to falling sales volume, shrinking market share, and sustained losses. That's not a justification for protectionism, rising imports. If it's a case of dumping steel at below cost, then you have a case. But just because you can't compete internationally, that's not a basis, that is not a basis for, simply not a basis for imposing tariffs and quotas and limitations on products because you can't compete. That's in violation of World Trade Organization rules. But they're going to the World Trade Organization anyway. The anti-immigrant group, the domestic vigilantes and terrorists are threatening to render the Eastern Cape ungovernable over a member's bail. March and Mark's Eastern Cape organizer Azola Morano warned the group would be making the province ungovernable if police don't back off, demanding they be lenient on members. Well, that would be a domestic terrorist. A warrant should be issued for Azola Morano's head right now. He should be arrested and detained by SAPS or the Special Investigating Unit and taken before a judge and charged with domestic terrorists or menacing threats and threatening the police and threatening the civil population, threatening civil disorder. Free speech is free speech, but making menacing threats against people is not free speech. And this gentleman should be in irons right now. Siyabonga Mkaksi, 40, had his bail application postponed after his docket showed an amended assault charge instead of an original intimidation charge. The police dismissed claims that they were targeting the group, warning that lawlessness wouldn't be tolerated, adding that 1,021 foreign suspects had been arrested. Well, I don't really care about foreign suspects. I care about this group that's threatening people's safety. We are not friends, my friend. Okay. All right. If police want to arrest all of us, so be it. We are fighting for our country. We're asking police to work with us and fight illegal immigration in this country. Why don't you take such a strong line towards the ANC's theft? You know, these idiots think that the reason that they don't have any money, that they're poor, is because illegal foreigners have come in the country. That's not why they're poor. They're poor because they're lazy and useless, and because they vote for the ANC. There's your answers right there. That's why you're poor and useless, because your own actions are inaction, not because of illegal aliens. They shouldn't be there, but this threatening them is not going to work. Stop renting your backyards. The premier blames South Africans for harboring undocumented migrants. Premier Propi Ramatuba is calling on communities to stop providing illegal accommodation and assist law enforcement. Limpopo's premier, Dr. Popi Ramatuba, has blamed South Africans for enabling undocumented foreign nationals to live in the province by renting out backyard rooms and providing illegal accommodation. Well, what about the police protecting people's property in Johannesburg, where these people steal people's homes and build shacks on them and rent them out to illegals? Why aren't those people in jail? Why isn't that happening? It has been confirmed that 2 soldiers have died after chasing Zama-Zamas into a mine that collapsed. 2 soldiers died during an anti-illegal mining operation in Johannesburg Friday after falling down a mine shaft used by Zama-Zamas. How come there are no white soldiers in the South African National Defense Force? No regular troops. Are they not allowed to be regular troops? A rescue effort was launched by South African National Defense Force, confirmed Friday that they had not survived. Happened at 6 o'clock in the morning. The pursuit ended in a tunnel during which 2 members tragically fell into an open, abandoned, vertical mine shaft. It concluded with the retrieval of the bodies of both members. That's truly sad. University of Cape Town has lost 250 million rand in donor funding in the wake of pro-Gaza resolutions. When they had anti-white, hateful, racist rhetoric against white South Africans and Afrikaans, they weren't losing money. The white, rich leftists still gave the money. But now, when they speak against Israel, now they're being punished. University of Cape Town lost a staggering 250 million in donor funding, including 15 million for student bursaries, after its council adopted 2 pro-Gaza resolutions in June 2024. I warned UCT. But they didn't listen. UCT is a place where historically there is contestation between people who support Israel and people who support Palestine. Yep, 250 million rand they're not getting anymore. Good. There's our Vice Chancellor, Moisa Moshabela. It's what you get for being asswipes and supporting terrorists. Yep, I hope they lose even more money. Witness K, in the Mshlanga hearings, has been arrested in connection with the 14.9 million precious stones heist. Witness K has been arrested in connection with the alleged 15 million rand precious stones robbery case involving suspended Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department Deputy Chief Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi. Witness K was arrested Friday by the police in Alberton in Gauteng. Well, and the plot thickens. More police corruption. Julius Mkhwanazi, the deputy chief of a local police department, is a brigadier general. What an absolute joke. What an absolute joke. 40% of South African retirees are forced to work and make cost of living. Yet I have refugee aspirants saying, will I make it in America? Well, you can't make it in South Africa. Why even asking such a silly question? 40%. The latest FMB Retirement Insights survey paints a sobering picture. For most South African retirees, this period of their lives is simply about survival. Retirement is costing significantly more than they anticipated. Yep. Retirement is often imagined as a time of independence, freedom, and fewer obligations, but the survey findings show that the reality of retirement is often more complicated. Rising food prices, medical aid, insurance, family support, and unexpected costs can reshape even a carefully considered retirement plan. Yeah. The key thing is underinvesting, people that underinvest, and debt has a big impact on this too. 40% of retirees rely on running small businesses, doing part-time work, or generating alternative income just to supplant or supplement their basic needs. Among consumers under 60, 73% now claim to have a retirement plan, a significant jump from 60% last year. Well, I'll believe that when I see it, especially with people taking money out of their two-pot retirement system. South Africa's government wants 750 billion, not million, 750 billion rand. South Africa plans to attract billions of dollars in investment into its specialized industrial hubs by April to achieve a manufacturing sector that's been declining for years. We're talking 750 billion worth of investments in this current fiscal year. They plan to raise capital from infrastructure investments, development finance institutions, and other lenders. Investors pledged a record 890 billion at the forum, with much of the capital earmarked for designated industrial sites. 890 billion rand? What fools are investing 890 billion rand into South Africa's corrupt, racist, failing economy? What fools? I'm curious. Well, there's no issue, folks. Nothing to see here. South Africa is open for business. That's what HeroTel says. Yes, HeroTel says it's open for business. If you work with local companies and the regulators, says the CEO of HeroTel, which is partnered with Amazon to bring satellite internet to South Africa. Of course, let me translate that for you. So HeroTel CEO Fansel Botha. No, it's not a question of working with local companies. It's a question of surrendering your capital to people based on their skin color. And apparently Fansel Botha is okay with doing that. Well, it's racist, and it doesn't help anybody. No one should be forced to surrender their equity that they've earned and worked hard for and invested, taken all the risk, and create a successful company just because someone's skin color. I'm sorry, Fansel Botha. HeroTel will not be a service that I subscribe to or I ever use, because clearly you're okay with racist legislation in South Africa, because you and Amazon have bribed the ANC by giving them a token amount of money to invest in something. Whereas Starlink offered a far more pervasive and widespread adoption of their technology free of charge to thousands of schools in South Africa, which would benefit black South Africans primarily and get them access to the internet so that their students could be educated, which is something the ANC doesn't want. No. Sorry, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Well, Media24, the parent of Cockprot24 and Rapport, has hired a new CEO. A white male? Of course not. But it was a whitey. Minette Ferreira will take over as Media24 Group CEO from September 1st. She's head of the company's media division. What does that mean? Is that the people who put out the propaganda and disinformation on a daily basis? Media24 CEO Raj Labahadur is set to step down. This follows a restructuring into a digital-first business. He will return to his former position of chief financial officer, be replaced by the head of the group's media division, Minette Ferreira. Is she the one responsible for all the propaganda coming out of News 24? Is she the one that Peter Dutoy and George Clausen and Adrian Basson answer to? The group's current CEO will return to his previous position. Media24 said in a statement that Labrador, who was appointed as interim chief in 2024, will become permanent CEO in April last year, complete his mandate of leading the group through a defined reconstruction and repositioning phase. Really? So this man has led this company to daily losses in capital with their propaganda. And so he's being replaced, but they're trying to turn it into, well, he's accomplished his mission. He's accomplished his mission, how? How? What has News 24 and Media 24 accomplished in the past since he's been there? I don't know. Misleading Africans? Well, speed limit, South Africa. The Administrative Adjudication of Road Traffic Offenses, the RTO system, rolled out 62 municipalities on July 1st, introducing new fines for exceeding speed limits. Fleeing Pikachu. Thank you. Coffee on me. Thank you so much for the 35 rand. Under the system, motorists have some wiggle room with speed limits. They allow a 10-kilometer tolerance before motorists will be penalized for speeding. It was first introduced in 1998, and it's been in testing in Joburg and Pretoria since 2008, but it only began rolling out more broadly this June. So speed traps are out there now. Every South African benefits from safe roads, effective law enforcement. How fast can you drive without getting fined? Well, they give you a 10-kilometer tolerance over the speed. And in a town, that can be very dicey. If it's 40 kilometers per hour, it's easy to hit 50. It's only a few miles an hour. Well, folks, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, 5 years later, something I talked about in 2021 that was not going to do much substantially for increasing inter-African trade or to raise Africa out of poverty. And here we are 5 years later, and who was correct? Well, let's see what they claim in this story. Weak infrastructure and payment hurdles hinder inter-African trade under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Well, Isn't that what I said was going to happen? Nagging inefficiencies at borders and weak transport infrastructure stand in the way of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, significantly boosting business between member states nearly 5 years after it came into effect during the COVID scam. A manufacturing conference in Joburg this week heard that African trade is about 14 to 16% of the continent's total trade, compared to about 60% for regions such as Europe and Asia. The continent is far from fully tapping the potential market of more than 1.3 billion people in 55 countries with a combined GDP of 3.4 trillion under the pact. Wow. So, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is a big nothing burger, which, as I said, it's going to be. China, not happy about President Trump exposing their corruption and interference in our elections. China is reacting angrily to President Trump's claims that it stole information about 220 million American voters during the 2020 election, dubbing them groundless accusations. Except they're not groundless. It's true. We have no interest in interfering in U.S. elections and never done so. Well, that's a lie. That's a lie. China is not happy with President Trump. Too bad. China's Xi Jinping launches a new artificial intelligence alliance. Chinese President Xi Jinping today urged countries to cooperate on artificial intelligence, ensure that no country dominates technology, and apparent jab of the United States. That's because China is behind by 15 years in artificial intelligence. They're behind, and so they want to attack America. Well, Japan has formally said only male emperors. Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi has defended the male-only rule as consistent with the 2021 expert panel report. Japanese Emperor Akihito, Empress Michiko, and Crown Prince Naruhito, and his wife, Princess Masako. Japanese lawmakers enacted a historic revision of the 19th century imperial house law on July 17th, expanding who can be members of the imperial family while insisting only paternal lineage men can become emperor. The bill cleared the House of Councilors after passing the House of Representatives the week before, completing its journey through the Diet, Japan's parliament. It now moves through final legal procedures before taking effect. Under the new law, female members of the imperial family will be able to retain their status after marrying a commoner rather than automatically losing it, as current law requires. Unmarried male descendants of distant imperial relatives, provided they come from paternal line or 15 or older, can be adopted into the existing imperial household. That second measure concerns those stripped of imperial status in 1947. Andreas says, 35 Rand says, great interview with Steve in the Buckeye State. Thank you for that. 35 Rand. Yoshimi Ogata, an imperial household agency official, told the House Representatives Committee on July 10th that those men are 36 to 38 degrees of kinship from the emperor. Japan has had 8 reigning empresses in its history. The most recent empress, Go Sachomachi, ruled from 1762 to 1770. The male-only succession rule dates to 1809, when Japan's first imperial house law enshrined it as part of a broader period of patriarchal reform. Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi said that ensuring a stable succession system cannot be postponed and called on the Diet to move quickly towards resolution. 2 days later, they voted on it. Well, that's a quick response. U.S. forces destroyed an Iranian maritime surveillance tower. 3 boys playing in the shallow waters in the Strait of Hormuz as a plume of smoke rises from an explosion in the background in Bandar Abbas. U.S. military says it bombed an Iranian surveillance tower used to track and target commercial vessels. Central Command, which oversees operations, posted grainy footage of missiles obliterating the Chabahar Sahid Kalatari port structure. The command said the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps used the tower for decades along the Gulf of Oman coastline. The destruction of the tower directly degrades their ability to coordinate attacks on innocent civilian crew members. Well, let's hope that that's true. Let's hope that that's true. Yep. Andy Burnham is officially the leader of the Tory party. Labour Party. What's the difference? Andy Burnham becomes Labour leader and is set to be Britain's Prime Minister, promising more public control of essential services. Oh, that's why we need more communism, more socialism, a shift of power toward local governments, and a push for economic growth. Your growth won't happen when you steal the economy from the private sector. He was installed Friday as the leader of Britain's Labour Party, the final step before King Charles III asked him on Monday to form a government and become the country's 59th Prime Minister. In remarks at a special Labour conference in London, Burnham called for having the courage to fix the big things that politics has neglected. The former mayor of Greater Manchester faces many of the same structural problems that have caused the country to churn through prime ministers every few years since 2016. Slow economic growth, high government debt, a struggling national service, and deep political divisions, not to mention an invasion of criminal aliens and the giving of resources to people who are not citizens, burdening the taxpayer. Oh, and the fascist totalitarian crackdown on free speech and the imprisonment of British nationals who offend Muslims, the very people who encroach on Church of England grounds and drop and pray to Allah, offending Christians every day. A 7.4 magnitude earthquake is reported off the coast of Guatemala in Central America. Massive quake initially measured 7.4. The National Weather Service issued a tsunami threat warning near the coast of Chiapas, Mexico, as a consequence of this earthquake. The earth is moving. The plates are turning. Oh, my goodness. President Trump says U.S. is winning big in Iran. Well, you're going to have to show us, buddy. We are from Missouri. Show me. The president made comments about U.S. operations against Iran during a speech last evening. President Trump said that American forces are winning big in the conflict in Iran, that the public will see its benefits in the near future. In a speech Thursday night that focused mainly on findings of election irregularities in the 2020 election, he made reference to the war in Iran, which was jump-started earlier this week after months of relative peace and an operation to remove Venezuela's former leader, Nicolas Maduro. We won in Venezuela, and we're winning big in Iran. Except, are we? Are we winning big in Iran? I'm not so sure about that. President Trump, for years, has been lied about and slandered and defamed by the New York Times, the Washington Post, and other legacy media outlets, claiming that his allegations of election fraud in 2020 were just that, allegations. There's no merit to them. Where's the evidence? Well, last night, President Trump presented evidence, and they simply dismissed it. So the evidence is there from the FBI, from the CIA, from Homeland Security, and they just dismissed it because it doesn't fit their narrative. Trump brings full weight of government to bolster false allegation claims, says the New York Times, in what is listed as a news story. Nothing but shame. That's not that's not news. That is a opinion. False election claims. Zolan Kano-Youngs, Nick Corasanti, and Dustin Volts. When President Trump tried to undermine and overturn the election results in 2020, he ran into stiff pushback, not just in the courts, but from many officials in his own government. He made sure there would be little room for such dissent when he returned to the White House. Well, look at that. So they're upset that Trump actually gave the evidence last night. They can't accept it. Trump declassifies evidence he says exposes shocking vulnerabilities in the election system. White House released a Homeland Security Department analysis of voter rolls that identified 278,000 names of non-citizens on state voter rolls. 278,000. Georgia was won by just 12,000 votes. This is the White House website, election integrity. 4 folders you can download with the actual documents. Ensuring the integrity of our elections is fundamental to preserving trust in American democracy. Following the 2020 election, concerns about potential irregularities prompted detailed examination of voting processes, data security, and registration practices across multiple states. And here you can download the documents about that. More than 190,000 non-citizens may be on California voter rolls alone, says Homeland Security. Department of Homeland Security is releasing more data behind President Trump's claims of voter rolls littered with non-citizens, saying its own review found more than 190,000 suspect names in California and 35,000 in New Jersey. It also identified 16,000 names in Nevada and almost 15,000 in Pennsylvania that its review flagged as possible non-citizens. Well, look at that. Look at that. So many illegal names entered in the rolls. And we show the evidence, but the media just dismisses it. Newly declassified documents describe China's election interference and influence efforts, concern that U.S. intel downplayed the connections. U.S. intelligence sources hid this data from their leaders and smothered it in criminal activity in the intelligence community. These people should be stripped of their clearances and processed for charges. White House released the files while Trump addressed the nation Thursday. President Trump released newly declassified documents related to foreign influence elections, while others appear to demonstrate the prior administration's attempts to downplay connections in intelligence reports. So the Biden administration lied about this. According to newly declassified CIA wire memo in July 2020, which included information from the FBI and the National Security Agency, the Chinese Communist Party was targeting personal email accounts of senior U.S. leadership, including officials in the executive branch of the president and high-ranking officials in multiple executive branches and the federal judiciary. The report noted CCP-related cyber actors were amassing election-related data from U.S. databases, polling companies, political organizations, and campaigns, among other nonprofit groups. They collected more than 204 million Americans' data, much of it coming from information that was publicly available to download. A separate National Intelligence Council report found that Beijing has expanded cyber collection of data related to the 2020 elections by carrying out opportunistic intrusions against private sector entities in an effort to collect information on U.S. political candidates. And it goes on and on. All these documents released, you see the redacted portions, protect sources and methods. Yet the media, within an hour of this being published, says it's all poppycock. They haven't even read all of it. Wow. Wow. You show them proof, it just doesn't matter. Well, according to the New York Times, America's enterprising spirit is booming after decades-long slump. Gee, I wonder why, because Trump has unleashed the economy and taken the shackles of the socialists off of it. Cassidy Winkler was working as a flight attendant on private jets when inspiration struck. It was the off-season for the professional hockey players she helped ferry around, and things at her job were slow. Eager for a diversion and missing the Pilates she had come to love as a college student, she went searching for studios near her home in Madison, Wisconsin, but couldn't find any. That's when I came with an idea. She started researching how to start her own boutique Pilates business, including what kind of training instructors would need. By early 2025, with the assistance of chatbots, including ChatGPT, she came up with a name, Revel Method Pilates, a logo and a plan. Soon, Miss Winkler had opened studios in Lake Geneva, Madison, and Monona. She now has 65 employees and is set to open a fourth studio. Across the country, founders like Miss Winkler are powering an entrepreneurial renaissance. Jump started by the pandemic. Americans filed 5.7 million applications last year to start new businesses. Look at that. Look at that. So we are in an entrepreneurial surge under Trump. Under Trump. It was even under Biden, but it's under Trump. And then we'll talk about that. Billions in taxpayer income are leaving 2 states as a new economic map emerges. Check this out. These are the counties that are gaining and losing taxpayers. So let's take a look at California. Santa Barbara County lost 1,345 residents. Los Angeles lost 17,496 residents. And then Deschutes County in Oregon gained 663. Yeah, so the colors are misleading here. But yeah, so basically the red is bad. So that's the entire country. Those are taxpayers, not people, but taxpayers. Because not everyone pays taxes. You have minor children, they're not paying taxes. Folks, the air quality sucks. Yesterday I could barely breathe when I walked outside. Very unhealthy. Wildfire smoke from Canada is polluting America. The D.C. region jumped into the list of world's most polluted major cities overnight. A smoke polluting us from the Canadians has disrupted our air quality. A code purple air quality index in effect for the district this morning. Air pollution concentrations are very unhealthy for the general public, according to the National Weather Service. Now look at the raging wildfires in Manitoba, and look at all the water there. What the hell? How are these fires getting started when there's clearly it's not dry? There's plenty of water. A code red air quality alert, 1 grade below purple is in effect for the entire area, including most of Maryland through midnight. The district, Northern Virginia, and most of Maryland are not alone in their concerning air quality, joined by northern cities of Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and New York. Yeah, well, the air sucks here. Wildfires, yes, but not the raging wildfires that are taking place. This is out of control. Let's take a look at those wildfires. Look at that. Manhattan. You can barely see the Chrysler building. Smoke from wildfires scorching central Canada dirtied the air in new parts of the United States Friday morning, including Washington, where air pollution soared to some of the worst recorded ever in the nation's capital. Republican lawmakers accused Canada of mismanaging wildfires, with Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio saying he would seek to penalize the nation for this atrocity. Canada's Prime Minister responded saying the United States must take great responsibility for fighting climate change. Yeah, piss off, Mark Carney. Look at that. That's from 2020. It's an old photo in Washington State. My goodness. So the Canadian government is not playing a significant role in fighting the fires. Well, the Army is going to follow the Marines into an acquisition of a deadly airframe. The Army will have its own tilt-rotor combat aircraft similar to the V-22 Osprey, which has killed many Marines. U.S. military is confronting the tyranny of distance as it shifts focus from relatively compact Middle East to the Indo-Pacific. Even the most isolated U.S. combat outpost in Afghanistan was less than 200 miles from the major logistics hub at Bagram. Compare that with Pacific, where a direct flight from Hawaii to Japan spans 4,000 miles and takes 9 hours. In December 2022, the Army officially chose the Bell V-280 Valor as the winner of its competitive future long-range assault aircraft program. Now designated the MV-75 Cheyenne II, the unique tilt-rotor aircraft will eventually replace the UH-60 as the Army's main workhorse aircraft. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm not in the Army anymore. These things are death traps. Death traps. It will be capable of transporting 14 soldiers and carrying an external load of 10,000 pounds. Yeah, we'll see. The Cheyenne II. No thanks. Well, bombshell new poll in California reveals that Steve Hilton's campaign is in deep trouble. The Republican stands zero chance of getting elected. Huge swing in the race. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Xavier Becerra has opened up a commanding lead over Republican Steve Hilton just weeks after the pair advanced from California's primary. Now, this, of course, is the corrupt system the Democrats set up to ensure that Democrats would always run the state. The first past the post in a jungle primary. The survey from the Public Policy Institute found Becerra leading Hilton by 25 points with a 61% likely voters backing the former health secretary compared to 36 for the former Fox News host turned Republican candidate. Results mark a dramatic shift from California's June 2nd blanket primary, or jungle primary, where Becerra finished first with 28 and Hilton had 24.7%. Yep, but this is only after they got a certain candidate to withdraw from the race. Well, Olympians are upset about the treatment of Caitlin Clark. The racist lesbianic league of the WNBA has ruined its product. Millions of us tuned into WNBA because of players like Caitlin Clark and a host of other players. And we fell in love with players in the WNBA who don't run around and disdain heterosexuals and do not hate America and don't advocate black supremacy. Players like the Indiana Fever's team, which has Aaliyah Boston, an incredible forward center who's brilliant. Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, one of the best guards in the league, along with Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull, and Sophie Cunningham. What an incredible team that is. But we wouldn't have been exposed to that if it were not for Caitlin Clark coming to the WNBA. But they've continually pissed this down the drain, allowing assaults to happen on Caitlin Clark in the court, including punches. She has an injured back from her first season from an assault taking place by a thuggish WNBA player who has penis envy. Athletes from the U.S., Jamaica, and Germany say the WNBA must uphold fair play and stop unchecked cheap shots. Caitlin Clark has infamously left off the last U.S. Olympic women's team in 2024. Exactly. The racist, lesbianic surge of the WNBA influence into the Olympic left this talented player off of the Olympics in 2024. An absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. I didn't even watch the women's Olympic team because it was not complete without the best player in the WNBA there. 2 years later, the controversy surrounding the WNBA's handling of Caitlin Clark has reached many corners of the sports world and caught the attention of Olympians from multiple countries. After weeks of controversy ignited by a punch to Clark's throat by another player, who is black, and has since featured Clark screaming in the face of referees on Wednesday night, 8 Olympians from 3 countries have come forward to Fox News to speak out against the WNBA in defense of Caitlin Clark. Nancy Hogshead, a 3-time Olympic gold medalist swimmer for the United States. The WNBA needs the courage to act decisively for athlete safety. Caitlin Clark is a generational superstar, but she deserves the same protection as every player. The WNBA cannot allow any dangerous conduct to go unchecked. A fist pressed against a player's throat is never just part of the game. It's wildly unacceptable. WNBA enforce your rules, hold offenders accountable, and put athlete safety first. Anthony Watson, the first Olympian to represent Jamaica in skeleton. As an Olympian, I've always believed sports has never been about what you look like or where you come from. It's always been finding the answer to one pressing question. Can the champion stay on top? Or can the next contender rise up and take their place? The athletes who prepare the hardest perform when the pressure is the hardest, and deliver the biggest moments are the ones who earn respect. Caitlin Clark has done exactly that. Yet instead of celebrating her elite competition, too much of the conversation has shifted to who she is rather than what she's accomplished. She's faced repeated hard fouls and relentless criticism that if roles were reversed, people would now use race as an excuse and the league would always look like it's reacting instead of leading. The reality is that Caitlin Clark brought unprecedented attention back to the WNBA. The league had passionate fans before she arrived, but her impact expanded the audience in a way that's hard to ignore. That's what transcendent athletes do for their generation. They elevate the sport. Every era has someone willing to push the standard higher, and that's how sports grow. Her legacy is already taking shape. The challenge now isn't proving that if she belongs, because she's already shown that. It's continuing to perform at an elite level while the league does its part to protect its players and let the competition, not the controversy, in the headline. So just like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, when they came into the NBA, I suddenly started watching the NBA. I lost interest after a while, but then Jordan came into the league and my interest was there. A transcendent athlete like Caitlin Clark, who is physically assaulted in what would be a criminal offense on the streets of any city in America by black athletes, repeatedly by black athletes. No, I'm not making a race issue, but it is in fact black athletes who trip her, who assault her, who punch her, who kick her, and they face no consequences. And the majority of them are lesbians. So what is the problem with black lesbians in the WNBA? And if you see the photograph of the punch to her throat, you'll notice that one white player from the opposing team and a black player from the opposing team have blocked anyone from coming to her defense. One kneeling down, crouching, protecting one side so no one can come in or see what's happening, and the other standing over Caitlin Clark while the player punches her in the throat. It was a team effort to assault her. On the streets of New York City, that is a felony charge, but not in the WNBA. Not in the WNBA. Donna DeVerone, two-time U.S. Olympic gold medalist. For those us pioneers who had no college professional sports opportunities and have worked tirelessly to elevate all women in sports, the abusive behavior directed at Caitlin Clark is disrespectful and short-sighted. A talented performer in any sport lifts up everyone. Players do not understand this or undermining the WNBA. Kate Eulander, U.S. skeleton athlete, five-time Olympian. Holy cow, that's what I thought when I was seeing a fist on Caitlin's throat. Then to hear Sophie Cunningham say she feels they are targeting her. What's being done about this? Safety is not a political issue. All players deserve fair play, safety, and sports are at their best when the focus is on the game, not on the integrity of officials are up to the standard. If athletes are questioning the officials, what is the WNBA to address that? I want to see the integrity of the rules upheld consistently. So should the WNBA. Stefan Gebhardt, Olympian and world champion for Germany in modern pentathlon. The goal of every functional sports league should be to promote the sport and athletes in the sport. The goal of all athletes in the league should be to showcase their athleticism to the fans. When the public focus on the league becomes peripheral drama having nothing to do with the fundamental sport, the league will always suffer. Eli Bramer, U.S. modern pentathlete in Beijing in 2008. The WNBA never missed an opportunity to miss an opportunity. Having spent years falling all over themselves, seemingly trying to build a social movement rather than an actual sports league, they're now botching a once-in-a-generation opportunity with an athlete like Caitlin Clark. If the WNBA wants to truly become a relevant sports league that offers women a high-paid professional opportunity, they will need to clear out the petty drama and focus on building a world-class sporting operation that supports their star athletes. Igna Thompson, U.S. women's cyclist, three-time Olympian. I noticed that after the letter was sent by members of Congress, news media called out the 11th best player vote by fellow players, criticism of the officiating. The last game changed from gutter thug ball to professional ball. I hope Caitlin is finally going to be recognized as a passionate athlete and a generational player. Celebrate her. Her awesome teammates in the WNBA all should thrive instead of just ripping apart everything to its demise. Carrie Engelhardt Zimmerman, U.S. women's gymnast at Montreal in 1976. The WNBA has not been aggressive enough in protecting Caitlin Clark. Every player in the league deserves the same safeguards when they step on the court. The WNBA's responsibility is to enforce its rules consistently and make it clear that talent should be challenged by great basketball, not by unchecked cheap shots. And I'll add to that, the NBA and the WNBA are racist leagues, both of them, that promote black supremacy over sports competition, and they have done so for generations, and it's disgusting. While I'm a major fan of Michael Jordan, let's be honest. If you watch the NBA, the term the Jordan rules was definitely true. People would breathe on Michael Jordan and he would get foul shots. Michael Jordan racked up points, an amazing athlete, the best player in the NBA history, but he would get points just because officials gave them to him. Why? Because he was black. That's why. Oh, foul. You see the replay, person didn't even touch him, and there was no review of that. Michael Jordan amassed thousands of points in his career because people breathed on him, because the racist NBA allows that. And you can't even watch the NBA now. It's just racist. Every athlete looks the same. They all behave the same. They all have the same height. The game is boring. Except for Stephon Curry and a couple other players, it is boring beyond belief. It is a black supremacy league, and only 11% of the U.S. population is black, but 78% of the NBA is black. And the same thing is happening in the WNBA. The WNBA has screwed a golden opportunity to advance its future. And I'm finding it increasingly difficult to watch these games as Caitlin Clark gets assaulted on the court and ridiculous fouls are called that never take place. And fouls that don't happen get called. It's pathetic. Meanwhile, NBC fired a security guard after a man gets close to Today TV anchor Craig Melvin and shouts a racial slur. Now, I've met Craig Melvin at the NBC offices in Midtown Manhattan. And he's a nice fellow, but he's also deluded. He thinks that they are objective in the news reporting. That's comical. But no one should behave this way. NBC fired a security guard at its New York headquarters after a man sneaked backstage before lunging and yelling the N-word at Today anchor Craig Melvin. Sources with direct knowledge of the matter told TMZ that the security guard, who had not been publicly named, was axed due to the lapse in security that let the unarmed man gain access to a restricted area. Sources told the New York Post, as page 6, that security video showed two guards at the scene. One stepped away and the other guard didn't see the unarmed intruder. The unnamed sources did not specify which of the guards was canned. New York City Police Department arrested Mr. Truelove after he was detained by security. He was charged with burglary, criminal trespass, and menacing as hate crimes, along with harassment. Melvin posted Thursday, "I've heard from so many of you over the last few hours. I'm doing just fine. Thanks for reaching out." Mr. Truelove has a history of homelessness, having ended up in the streets of California after a string of prior felony convictions. He's a Virginia native. Arrested multiple times in New York City this year prior to the incident. Mr. Truelove was actually looking for Al Roker, but was unable to find him. No one should behave in any fashion, and Mr. Melvin should not be subjected to such racial taunts and behavior. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And there's the news for today, folks. All right, so someone just asked a question about refugees, but you were told don't ask questions about refugees during the news. The news is over. The person who was that, Denica Nell, if you want to ask your question again, you can ask it again. All right? But you folks were warned. This is not a refugee program. Have respect. Now the news is over, and I'll answer questions. The NBA and FIFA are the same. Yeah. In fact, Yassine just warned people. Hadidas and Hadids, let's show support for the colonel each other. Thank you, Dorothy. Listen, I know that some of the Hadidas and Hadid dudes have received ineligibility letters, and my heart goes out to them. And hopefully we can get a resolution for what's going on for them. So, hang tough. We're trying to figure out what's going on. All right, let's go back and see what comments are here that I missed. Who's making it awful in the chat? And why aren't they being deleted? Well, sorry, Corey. I'll tell you why it's every time someone's making it awful in the chat. Because they're sad people who have no lives, and they get their jollies and orgasmic events from disrupting the lives of other people. The same reason that certain people wearing bathrobes slander, defame, and lie, and consistently get everything wrong, yet attack people, honorable people who serve this nation. Yep. Attack lawyers who are barred. It's ridiculous. Enough is enough. If the U.S., let's just go become South Africa, where whites are treated second-class citizens. Can't access my e-file and they still have my details. Okay, that's about your taxes. A lot of SARS talk in the chat. 300 people currently here. There's just over 1,000 have come. Stormers will win. I don't know. Last time I checked the score, it was 26 to 4. Now it's 26 to 24. Ooh, the Pumas are coming back. Oh no, it's over. They lost. Pumas came back, but they didn't win. They lost by 2 points. I don't have Curry Cup anymore. I picked the Pumas by 7, so I lost. Well, thank you, Pumas. Western Province is starting in about 7 minutes, and I don't have it. The contract is gone. I no longer have access. If somebody has a way for me to watch that, please slip me a note. I would love to watch the game. Yep, I love to watch the games. I can't do the Curry Cup because they no longer have the broadcasting rights. That sucks. Hey, Spook, how's it going? Joan, you're welcome. Still shocked that some people here almost daily ask the same questions. Yeah, same with me, Arno. Exactly. Just instead of just jumping in and being me, and attention seeking, why don't you just pay attention to the broadcast or watch the videos? You know, we watched the Night Owls a couple nights ago. I went back and I showed the 3 videos that I did last year in mid-February, just shortly after this program was announced, and I explained everything there. We went through the videos, and I didn't come across one error except one spot where I said that the U.S. will pay for your flight. You're not paying for it. Well, what I meant by that is the U.S. will ensure that you get funded by IOM. You do have to repay it. But, you know, everything else was 100% spot on. 100% spot on. Never worked for USCIS. Never worked for a consular section at an embassy. But I know what I'm talking about. And all those things were correct. Yet people come here and ask the same questions over and over again. You are here in the U.S. for 6 months. Your passport expires in 6 months. Yes, you should. Yeah. It won't. No, it doesn't affect your naturalization. You're a citizen of South Africa, not of the United States. You're not naturalizing. You can't naturalize until after 5 years. Hey, George, how's it going? Thank you for that. That's a 60-month membership. Wow. Yeah, no. If you have a passport that's expiring, you're going to have to. Well, I mean, that's your choice. If you don't want a passport and you're satisfied with your identification, that's on you. But then you're going to have to wait. You will definitely not be able to leave the country without a passport. You definitely will not be able to leave America, even for a compassionate trip back to South Africa for a death of a family member or an illness. You won't be able to go anywhere with no passport that's valid. So if you don't renew it and some situation comes up and you won't be able to travel internationally, you can't even go to Canada. You used to be go to Canada on a driver's license. Now you can't do that. So technically you don't need a South African passport or an American passport in America. You don't need identification. But I would keep my passport active. Danica Nell says, polish for the comment. I'm new to this. Respect to news. When are we able to ask questions? Right now, Danica. When the news is over. You just have to wait until the news is over. Or tune in for Night Owls. Or the Refugee Cafe Clutch on Sunday. The Cafe Clutch on Sunday I'll be doing, and that'll be just before the World Cup final, which is at 3 p.m. So it'll be at 2 p.m. They want to charge them a levy if they don't use all the tickets. Oh, that's crazy. They've already paid for the tickets. They paid for the box. You also want to get real ID so you can fly between states. You know, that's true. You want real ID. Thank you, George. 140 Rand. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Waka Pro. Okay, what is Waka Pro? Is it an app? It is an app. Oh, you have to pay for it. 2 TVs and monthlies, and 2 mobiles. 1 TV, 1 mobile. Okay, well I'll try that, but it doesn't tell me what is available. No, I don't know Waka Pro. Thank you for that. I'll try. I appreciate your report on air pollution. Is fire the only reason for the low? Yeah, it's the fire that's causing the problems. The fires. Yeah, Kelly's correct. You want real ID. I don't have real ID for my driver's license, and that's because this is my driver's license. Cover up the relevant date on here so people don't see it. But there's my Pennsylvania driver's license. This is not real ID. And the reason it's not real ID is I don't need one. Most people need to get a driver's license as real ID. Pennsylvania charges $25 for this driver's license. It's not real ID. And $100 for a real ID. So I save myself $75. Now, why would I do that? Because I have a military ID card, which is real ID. That's a real ID. And I also have a passport, which is also real ID. So it's superfluous and unnecessary. So I don't do the real ID for driver's license. But that's an unusual circumstance. Most people, if you have a U.S. passport, you don't need real ID. Use your passport. If you have, but it's less convenient than just pulling your driver's license out of your wallet or purse. Passports are bigger and bulkier. If you have something like government-issued ID that's real ID, then you don't need it. But she's right. Real ID is what you want. Okay, how do I find out what this Waka offers? What does Waka TV offer? What programming does Waka TV offer? Oh. Does Waka TV in USA? Okay. 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 Does Waka TV offer Super Sport? Yeah, Super Sport. Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll check it out. Okay. $8 a month. It's worth trying. Okay. Has all the rugby on it. Okay, well, let me see if I can download here. It looks like I can sign up for it there. I should be able to download it. It shouldn't be a problem. Let me look here very quickly. I'll get back to the RefG questions in a moment. Let me see. I didn't know about that. I wish I had. I would have set up for today. So search Waka. W-A-K-A. Waka TV. Waka TV. Okay. There's different. I'm not sure which one there is. Which one is it? See, there's a bunch of different things here. I don't know which one's the real one. I think there's copycat apps here. Edilabs, El Hadi, that doesn't sound good. Ansansao. Yeah, I think it's probably this Edilabs. It has the most downloads. What's this one? Waka TV Watch Movies. DS. So does anybody know which the one the apps it is? I think it's probably the one by Edilabs. See details. Maybe if I sign up online, it'll tell me which one. Where are we at here? Your time or ours? Oh, my time, Marlboro. It's always based on my time. Okay. Unless I'm traveling, then I'll tell you. Yeah, my real ID here. What's this? Thanks for the advice. $800 a year for so many channels worth it, says Debbie. Yeah, but do I have to use a VPN? Might be a problem. So I can pay in dollars, no voucher code needed. I'll try it for $8 a month and see how it goes. I'll try that. All right? Yeah, I'll try it shortly. Okay. If someone overstayed their previous, there you go. If someone overstayed their previous H-2B visa, will they be immediately disqualified for FG program? You know what CS5 call. No, you won't be immediately disqualified, most likely, but it's not going to be in your favor. It's not going to be in your favor unless you have this very serious, legitimate reason. You were hospitalized or something like that, or overstaying your visa is a no-go. That's not good. In South Africa, if you overstay your visa, they call you undesirable for 5 years, regardless of whether you had a reason or not. They don't even listen. So all I can tell you is if you're in that situation there, Denica, and you want to come to the program, do the intake questionnaire, go about your life, continue your life, and hope for the best. But don't put all your eggs in one basket. Mind, the longer we watch Colonel's live videos, especially the ads, what helps the Colonel on a daily basis. Yeah, I know the ads help. So can't get a doctor's appointment scheduled for months here in Portland. It's ridiculous. That's crazy. Portland, Maine, or Portland, Oregon? I think it's Portland, Oregon. You told me. Can you share your curry cup super brew link? Oh yeah, sure. I'll get that. Hang on. Super brew. Let me go to my captaincies, and I got 3 curry cup aspirants here. So let me put them in. Manage pool. Matt Canale is at the top. Applicants, okay. Approve. Oh, Shark fan. I approved him anyway. 3 people just got approved for the poll. Let me get the link for it. Invitation. I got a bunch of people that didn't sign up for it that were here before. Nobody declined it though. So come on, I get back to captaincies. Let me get you the link here. Curry Cup, and I'm not going to do well based on the Pumas already letting me down. That was disappointing. They were at home and they lost at home. Yep. Right now, Matt Canale's out in front. He's 1-1 and he's got a bonus point. And I got nothing. I'm ranked 8th. So I need the invitation. Where's the invitation? How do I invite people here? Come on, I hate this. It's always so hard to find. Invitation. That's not what I want. Settings. Where is invite? This is so annoying. Here we go. Maybe it's that's not what I wanted. I don't want Google Play Store. Come on. This is annoying. Manage, that's what I want. I want to invite people to it. I have 18 people in it right now. Members, come on. Where is the invitation? This is so irritating. It's never the same. Oh, God bless it. Oh, man. Oh, God bless it. Okay, we go back here again. What is Crick Free? That's an app. I don't want apps. I want to watch this crap on my phone. I want to watch it online. Let's see. Rugby. Let's see. No rugby streams at the moment. Yeah, so there's no Curry Cup. So that's not going to help me. Crick Free. That's not going to help me. Curry Cup. Okay, there it is. Okay. Okay. Invite players. There it is. It's a little thing at the top. I finally got it. My goodness, that's not what I want. I want this. Okay, here you go, guys. Sorry. All right. Sorry, that took a few minutes. It's at the top. It's not where it should be. It should be under managed pool, but it's not there. If you want to join the Curry Cup pool, there you go. Only one game has been played, so you're not behind yet. Sal je oor nur für eine Brandes and okay. Thought, what is this? Someone said, oh, come on, where's it going at? No, I haven't seen anything about Rolf Meyer. I looked, there's nothing online available. No, don't apologize, Ars. Someone mentioned that earlier on. I've got nothing. It's not legal in the USA. Well, according to the research I've done here, it says it's not illegal. A few apps that's slow. You need to watch any sport event where I have no free. Debbie sent me a WhatsApp. Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks. All right, Debbie. Spain or Argentina to win the World Cup final? Spain. I haven't heard from Fonz in ages. TV box to stream on laptop. I've tried to stream on laptop. It never worked. Okay. Okay, I was in Israel as COVID hit. We weren't allowed to travel. I was asked about the interview, why we're staying, and when we heard it was because of COVID. Yeah, that's different. That's different. Lots of people had that happen around the world. If it's because of COVID, yeah, that's a different story. Or Waka TV was changed to Smile as Waka is illegal in South Africa. Really? Smile TV. Okay. Smile TV. It was closed on January 12th, 2025. Yeah, see, why can't they just provide the service I paid for? I paid for Curry Cup, and now they don't have the broadcast rights. It's probably Super Sport. Yeah, I could be making fortune as a consultant for companies investing in Africa. Instead, the man spends his time teaching us. Thank you very much, Devet. You've been using Waka Pro for a year now with any problem, says Isak. Thank you, Isak. Stormers 3, Greek was nothing. Okay, all right, let me check on the scores. Yep, I got it. 6 minutes in. Province is leading 3-0. I cover the daylight savings issue, Leslie. Not today, though, but in previous broadcasts this week, I've talked about it. I oppose it. I think it's dumb. What's your score prediction of Springbok game tomorrow? I haven't made one, or did I? Let me look and see. Let me see what my Super Brew prediction was. Let me go to picks for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I picked New Zealand by 9 over Ireland. I picked France by 10 over Japan. I picked Australia by 10 over Italy. Scotland by 15 over Fiji. South Africa by 25 over Wales, and Argentina by 7 over England. That's what I picked. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's not illegal in the U.S. as far as I know. CB has no electricity. March on March Interactions is a hot topic of local black South Africans. My friends who helped me print my letter today, and people I know from walking to shops, all asking me what I think. Okay. Wonderful ANC clowns are all over a TV channel, but allow murderers to reign supreme over the country. Yep. NASCAR. Nah, it's not my cup of tea. How's it going, Garrett? Right. No, this really sucks because I wouldn't be doing the news right now. Right now, I would be on Rugby Senate doing the Curry Cup game, but unfortunately, I don't have access to it. Let me just double check and make sure that Flow Rugby didn't change something since they answered my question this week. I doubt it. Nope, the next rugby they have is not until September. I looked everywhere. This game is not anywhere. USA plays this weekend. I think they play Spain in the Nations Cup. Yeah, it's Saturday's game. They're unbeaten after victories over Portugal and Zimbabwe. They're behind Chile, though. Okay. So they're going to be playing at, where's this at? I think they play Spain. Here are the lineups here. I can't stop this stupid thing from playing. There's an ad. I hate that they make the small video up here. Where to watch? On Paramount Plus, 7:30 Saturday. So I'll be watching that game. Yep, they play Spain. So the Nations Championship, New Zealand, Ireland, Japan, France, Australia, Italy, Fiji, Scotland, South Africa, Wales, Argentina, England. That's the championship, okay? And in the standings, it's Ireland in first place in the North Hemisphere with 10, France with 7, Scotland 6, England 5, Wales 5. In the Southern Hemisphere, South Africa has 10, New Zealand has 10, Argentina 6, Japan 4, Australia 3, and Fiji nothing. Yep. The championship round, Nation Championship, the rounds, they're beginning again in November. South Africa will be in Italy on November 7th. And then on November 13th, they're in France. And then on November 21st, they're in Ireland. Yep. So the Nations Cup schedule, tomorrow, Samoa versus Romania, Uruguay versus Hong Kong, Chile versus Georgia. That should be an interesting game. Both those teams are up and coming. Tonga versus Portugal. That would be a good game too. U.S. and Spain, Canada versus Zimbabwe. Yeah. So in this rankings, Pool A for the Nations Cup, Chile has 10 points, USA 9, Samoa 5, Tonga 5, Uruguay 5, and Canada 3. In the other one, Georgia 9, Spain 8, Portugal 7, Romania 4, Zimbabwe 1, Hong Kong nothing. Current World Cup rankings, South Africa is 93.96 points. Thank you for the super chat, Isaac Joubert, 440 Rand. Okay. Why is Japan the southern part? Just because. Just because. Yeah. Yeah. They had to break it out evenly, and that's how it works out. It's supposed to be the top 12 teams in the world, but if I looked at the rankings, I'm not really sure that's the top 12 teams. So top 12 teams would be South Africa, New Zealand, Ireland, France, England, Scotland, Argentina, Australia, Fiji, Italy, Japan, Wales. Actually, that is the top 12 teams. Yep. 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 So, yep, that's right. Anyway, fascinating stuff. Loving rugby. But I can't watch my game today. That sucks. All right, Arno, take care. Yeah, the Junior Bucks are also playing France tomorrow. But what time is that game on? World Rugby Junior World Championship. Let's see what time that is. Okay, so actually right now for 5th place, Scotland and Wales are tied at 14. Japan and Spain Spain leading 18-12. Australia beat Argentina 52-29. USA beat Uruguay 39-15. Georgia and Fiji play tomorrow. New Zealand, England tomorrow. And then the final is at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Oh, well, that's going to interfere with what time is the Springbok game? It's 11 o'clock, isn't it? South Africa versus Wales. South Africa versus Wales is 11:40, 12. Yeah, so that the Springbok Championship game is going to be out at the same time as the Wales game. Well, that'll be interesting. I'll have to update you on one and watch the other. Gave the country away for rugby, while not the brightest move. Good night, everyone. Be safe. Good night, Dorothy. Take care. Oh, people are leaving. What's going on? So the 5th place match will be Scotland versus Wales, which is right now 14-14. Then 3rd place is tomorrow, New Zealand and England. And then France and South Africa play for the championship. It would be back-to-back if the Junior Bucks win it. So, cool. Smile TV, 7 days. Interesting. They've got a trial period, so you don't have to pay for it. Interesting. It's interesting. Anyway. Just lost 3 subscribers. I love YouTube. It's so funny. Let me take a look at something here very quickly. Under 20 women's rugby, USA won the All Blacks Springboks. Count. Yeah, I've been stagnant here. So I hit 129,000 on July 9th. And 8 days later, I am just 100 ahead of that. 108 days. Clement Matea's interview with Rolf Myers on Radio 72 channel published yesterday. He speaks. Well, how can I get something that was published on the radio? Is the file available? Wacky Mantis, $20. Watch Curry Cup on Rugby Pass. It's not on. It's on a Rugby Pass. Let me go, Rugby Pass TV. I looked. It wasn't there. Rugby Pass TV. Let's go look and see. It wasn't there when I looked. Nations Championship. Oh, you son of a beeswax. It's there. Oh, my goodness.
But you need to have a look at that again. Was he
Bite me.
there?
Thank you for that.
Just exposing you into them.
Thank you.
There's like no Stormers, no awareness around the Stormers players.
Oh, I am really torqued off. It wasn't there when I looked last week when I was trying to find it. It's on. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. Who gave me that? I don't have to sign up for any dodgy stuff. Who just said that? Watch out on Rugby Pass. Thank you so much. 7-3. The Greek was out in front now.
By Gino Cupido. Don't want to give that guy an inch of space.
Wow.
Unger looks left and then goes right. Good work from George Whitehead to come across.
George Whitehead still playing there. Who said that? I was looking at this Rolf Meyer thing, and I just saw somebody said watch it on Rugby Pass. Wacky Mantis. Thank you, man. Oh, that's what it was on the $20. Thank you. It wasn't there last week. It so pisses me off. I guess maybe because the licensing isn't available anymore, they picked it up. Well, I'll be damned. I'll be damned. Wow. Okay, thank you so much for that. Man, oh man, oh man. See, this is the frustrating thing about rugby in America. You can't just catch it on TV like Supersport. You got to go look 1,000 places. I could have been covering this game. Well, I'll cover the rest of the Curry Cup now. Man, that torques my shorts. That really torques my shorts. Thank you, Wacky Mantis, for the $20, and thank you for the tip to go, because I'd already looked at Rugby Pass, and I'd given up on it. Wow. Why young folks in say are in such bad debts, just pay debts back to banks and complain they don't even earn enough people. Well, first off, you're just reading news stories. When you say young people, you talking about all 85 million young people? No. People are irresponsible because they've been nannied and babied by their parents, and they haven't been held to any standards. No, I got it, Mike. It was Wacky Mantis. They've not held any standards, and they've not been taught financial responsibility, and they're just lazy Welches, many of them. There are people legitimately that are suffering or having a hard time, but that's because they made bad decisions in life, by and large. You know, going into college and wasting 4 years or screwing around and taking 5 years to get a 4-year degree in gender studies is your own stupid decision. There's a high tackle card coming here. Yep. Curry Province just got a yellow card for a high tackle. He didn't even go to the TMO. Wow. Yeah, people make dumb decisions. You know, I make good decisions. I got a yellow card. I live within my means my entire life. I saved and put stuff aside and was responsible. You know, other people, that is a terrible high tackle. Yeah, he's lucky he didn't tear somebody's MCL or ACL. He deserved the yellow card. Yep. Anyway, yeah. See what Arza Rose is telling you. I saw it. Yes. But I mean, look, I'm sorry. The rugby's more important right now. The rugby is more important. I saw it. She's trying to tell me about 702, but I can't. Okay, it's on 702. Yes, it's. Oh, on YouTube. Oh, thank you. That's helpful. Okay. Thank you. That helps me. I was like, how can I listen to the radio? Okay, let me see. Radio 702. Okay, cool. Let me see. Okay. All right. Okay. Interview with... I don't see any interview with him there. 7 hours ago. Is that when it was on? When was this interview? Okay. God bless it. Now, see, there's a million things going on here. Hang on a second. Okay. So... 702 published yesterday. Okay, not the one from 7 hours ago. Okay, thank you. So that's Clement. I don't even know who this guy is. 1 day ago. So this is it. Okay, with Rolf Meyer. How many views does this thing have? Oh, they have fewer views than I do.
He delivered the arguments to the court.
Okay, he's not in studio. Says it talks to Vincent Mangueña. Doesn't say anything about talking to Rolf Meyer. Let me look at the one that's from today. Okay. Maybe these are posted a day in arrears. No, this says Vincent Mangueña again. All right, well that doesn't help me. So where the heck can I find? I mean, what timestamp? Timestamp would be helpful. That way, I'm not looking through things. Rugby pass is blocked. Yeah, because you have SuperSport, but the licensing here was Flow Rugby. It's gone, so it's not covered anywhere in the U.S. Cheetahs. Yeah, I'll cover the Cheetahs on Sunday. Yep. Well, that means that yeah, well, that'll be your time. It's 1 o'clock, so I'll be able to cover the Cheetahs on Sunday. Yeah, okay, Arza Rose, I got it, but what's the timestamp? Don't copy and paste the links you can't do. Just tell me, this one's 10 hours ago was posted. It doesn't say what day it is, though. See, these things don't say what day they are. No, the Cheetahs game is not on too early. I'll watch it. 7 o'clock it'll be on. If it's at 1 o'clock, it'll be 7 o'clock my time, so I'll watch it. Let's get back. I've got, where the heck's it at? Oh, come on. Oh, God, my eyes bother me now. It's 7-3, still 20 minutes into the game, and the Griquas have the ball. They're at DHL Greenpoint Stadium. They're about 6 meters from their try line. They've carried, ball comes loose, but this recovered, went backwards, but the Griquas still have it. Oh, that's off his feet. That should have been a penalty. Instead, it's a penalty for side entry against, they're saying off the feet by the Western Province side. But the Griquas are the ones who are off their feet initially, and that was ignored by the official. Wow, that was pretty selective. Mike sent me a link. Okay, thank you, Mike. Hang on a second. Okay, I don't have any link from you. I'm looking at WhatsApp. I don't see nothing from you, Mike. Nope, nothing there. So I don't know how you sent me a link. Yeah, guys, I can't sit through 6 hours of radio broadcast with no faces on the screen looking for the time that this interview happened. I need to know a timestamp. I appreciate the telling me so I can comment on it, but I can't sit here for 6 hours and work my way through 2 broadcasts listening to that. They don't need some liberal trader telling me to shut down the program, Heidi. You're right. No. That's not a timestamp. That's a posting. A timestamp is 1 hour, 22 minutes to 1 hour, 27 minutes. That's the timestamp in the broadcast. It's a 3-hour broadcast, radio broadcast, and he's sitting in the studio. Obviously, Rolf Meyer must have called in. So, Ali Kebble just walked off the pitch. What's going on there? Is he injured? Oh, Ali Kebble just went out.
His place, another youngster.
Why not successful for the Griquas?
Good take from
That's
Carl
one.
L.
Looks like Steven Giddenhuis is the official on the
Don't have
pitch.
to lick. Out now. Out.
Oh, nice slowing down the rolling ball.
Alexander
Oh, the ball comes
tempted
loose.
by kicking,
Offside.
but he's come.
Boy, the province is getting a lot of penalties called against it. Every time they do something, they get a penalty. No, I appreciate you trying to help, Corey. I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying that that's not a timestamp. That's the posting. That's when the video is posted. What I mean by timestamp is where in the video. Where in the video is it at? Rolf is better than Two-Face Harvey from Batman. I meant the person who told us should send link. Oh, gotcha, Mike. I thought you sent me a link. Okay. I misunderstood that. Thank you, Paul de Klerk. Paul de Klerk, I'm sorry I'm missing this game now. Yep. So I will cover the rest of Curry Cup coming up. Yep. So 72% possession for the Griquas so far. Wow. 21 minutes in. Oh, and they just broke free on the rolling maul and they carry it down to about the 26-meter line. Picked up there, sent over the middle, and lost forward. The Griquas promising attack comes to nothing. And there's Stefan Unger. He sends it across to one of the big fellas. And we got an offside advantage here. The Griquas were way offside. Way offside. Yeah, Griquas. I love the Griquas, but I'm a province fan, so I have to root for them today. Actually, either way it goes, I'm fine. Oh, that was caught in the air. It was nicely done by the Griquas. Well, that's good. If I can cover the Curry Cup games through this, it's free. Rugby Pass. See, that's the thing about rugby broadcast. It's so frustrating. Oh, great defense there by the province side. But a penalty against province again. For what? What did they do? A yellow card? What the hell's going on here? Another yellow card. What was that for? That's just messed up. Cornell Smith got a yellow card.
It's a good kick again. You mentioned that penalties will hurt you.
We cannot carry on like that. When you guys have the ball, there's nice play in play. Ball in
Scrummers
play.
have had
Every
Griquas
time
under
they get the
pressure,
ball, there's a penalty.
But it's the penalty
Get
count
it up.
that's hurting the sport.
Yeah, I wish the announcer would shut the hell up. I'm trying to hear the official on the pitch. She's explaining to the players what's going on. Amy Barrett-Thron is stepping away from, that looks like her on the pitch. That's not her. It's someone that looks like her. Amy Barrett-Thron is stepping away, dealing with cancer. That's sad. I did find that photograph last night. I was talking to the audience, and it said that, where's it at? Here it is. So, is that it? Yeah. So this is Amy Barrett-Thron at the Women's Rugby World Cup in England, where I was just at, with her daughter. And she has just, apparently has got cancer, according to the news reports. There she is. Yep. Yeah. Look at her daughter's got that, also got that, the same shirts. Yeah, that was in England, and that was after the Streamlabs. Whoops, what happened there? Okay. So, something strange happened there. Corey needs a new keyboard. Teeth horn's taken off. President Trump's not going to shut down the program, yeah. Colonel does not have time for incompetence and bullshit. Typical new board politician, yep. Yeah, if somebody knows what period in that video that happened, that'd be helpful. So I appreciate Arza Rose telling me about it, but Arza, is she off trying to find the timestamp now? Because she went quiet. Head is from Kimberly. Okay, well, that explains why you're a Griquas fan. Yes, I'm in a sports mindset for the moment now that I've found the damn games. Yeah, and I feel so, I'm kind of embarrassed because I couldn't find those damn games. I looked, that was the first place I looked was Rugby Pass TV, and it wasn't there. But now they're there. So anyway, all right, I'm disappointed. I mean, so I have to have a Paramount Plus, I have to have a freaking, Peacock subscription, I have to have a Rugby Pass TV subscription, I have to have a Flow Rugby subscription, and that doesn't even cover all of it. I used to have a URC subscription too. So it looks like is it the Griquas ball? I can't tell. Where's the scrum halves? No, it's the Griquas ball. 4 handling areas by the Western Province side. You'll notice I'm not calling them Stormers 15. That's BS. Or 23. Stormers 20. Oh, they changed it to Stormers 23. It's not 15. No, it is Western Province. You're not going to change that for me. Sorry. Anyway. Okay. Karen Bester, how you doing? Whoops. Another penalty against Province. Geez, that must be like 7 penalties. Yeah, no, I saw that. Amy Barrett Thrawn. Yeah, so when did I have that? Let me see if I can find that right quickly. Amy Barrett Thrawn. Let me find that story. Yep. South African rugby referee Amy Barrett Thrawn has announced that she's stepping away from officiating as she begins treatment after being diagnosed with breast cancer. Cape Town-based official regarded as one of the sport's leading referees confirmed she'll be unavailable for foreseeable future while focusing on her health. The 39-year-old recently informed both South African Rugby and World Rugby of her decision to temporarily put her career on hold. News came as a shock to many in the rugby community. She also shared an encouraging update saying her cancer is treatable and that she's working with a team of specialists to return to the field in the coming months. I've been diagnosed with breast cancer. The good news is it's treatable. I'm working with an incredible team of specialists who are fully aligned with the goal of getting me healthy and back on the field in a few months' time. Her immediate priority is treatment and recovery, adding that she plans to tackle the challenge with the same discipline and determination that helped her become one of rugby's best respected officials. She definitely is that. She holds a record as the most capped female test referee, having officiated 52 international tests, making her one of the most experienced match officials in the women's game. Remarkable career. Former Springbok 15 and Sevens player, she made history by becoming the first woman to referee a men's rugby match in South Africa. Yep. Oh, what's going on here? El Marie. You just sent. Oh, thank you, El Marie. And Suze. Okay, thank you so much. Let me see what El Marie came up with. Thank you, El Marie. Okay. Oh, okay. This is a clip. Okay, thank you. Okay, it's a clip. Okay, thank you. El Marie, you're a star. You're a star. Thank you, El Marie. Now I can go through 23 minutes and pull out what I need. That I can do. Okay. After the Curry Cup game, I'll look at it. Thank you so much to Arza Rose and El Marie. Susie Mtetwa. Susie Mtetwa. Hey, Susie, where are you from? Mtetwa. Is that a Venda name? Mtetwa. Looks like something from Zimbabwe. I don't recognize it. From an outsider's perspective, it seems how they want South Africans to build great things so that black South Africans take it, ruin it, blame the Afrikaners. Hey, Neil Yardbar, what's going on, man? Reason was just the desecration country conditions, not serious claim. Huh? I'm worried us who haven't received letters might still. Some have done FOIA requests and not get their letters yet. They claim their FOIA files showing eligibility. How much are all the subscriptions? Well, Paramount Plus is $14 a month. Peacock is $10 a month. That's $24. Flow Rugby is $60 a year. So say $5 a month. So that's $25 a month just for those three alone. So, yep. But it's a question of finding games and guessing where they're at all the time. It's so frustrating. Whenever I hear Western Province, it makes me think back to funny people's pranks with the Shining Province, giving away my age. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for that link. I'll listen to that and figure it out. But in the meantime, I'm going to catch the rest. Oh, another penalty. That was not on Province. Looks like it was on Province, but it's not.
When to have
12-3. They must have scored a try when I was looking away. Yeah, the Griquas scored another try. Wow. Wow, it's 12-3. And Ed Murbo says, coming to Fort Worth. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. You're welcome, Corey. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for helping me find that. I appreciate it. Help me find the 702 link and announcing it to me, Arza, and also to the gentleman who gave, or the lady, whoever that was, gave the $20. And also for telling me it was on Rugby Pass TV. I was like, it wasn't there, but it was. Susie Mtetwa gave a 14 Rand super chat. Thank you. All right. That's going to be it. I will cover the Cheetahs game on Sunday now. I'm sure that CB is going to be happy about that, as will some Cheetah fans. Okay? Thanks, guys. And I will have the Springboks game tomorrow against Wales. That one's on Rugby Pass, so that one's, I know, is already there. Zombies who run past are funny. Yeah, they are, but sometimes it gets changed up and it's not zombies, and I don't know what happens there. Okay, guys, thank you. Be sure to hit the like button. I'll catch you later. Well, how we doing? We've got, wow, the views went up a little bit in the last couple hours. Not sure what's going on. Thanks so much, and be sure to hit the like button. There will be a Night Owls tonight because it's Friday, but there will be. All right, and then we'll have rugby tomorrow. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you, everybody. God bless and have a good day. Cheers, and thank you all for all your help. I appreciate it, and for your patronage. It's awesome. I really do appreciate it. Cheers. And for the super chats, thank you for that too.